It's just gone at 1 o'clock, and this is All Angles on eNCA. Good afternoon to you. My name is Cindy Mabi, in for Masego Rahlaga, and it's that time of the day when we give you an update on how far some of the stories we've been following up for you have advanced and developed. And we start with our reporter Lethiwe Mdluli and Bafedile Moerane. We'll come to you in a bit. Lethiwe, thank you so much for joining us. Just looking at the issues around, let's start with Diepsloot, rather with Bafedile. Earlier on when we spoke, the community had converged at the local police station to hand over a memorandum of demands primarily dealing with issues of rampant crime, teenage pregnancy, lawlessness, and the absence of police visibility or action from the communities. What's the latest there? Good afternoon.
Also, at this point in time, the community leaders here and the marchers have handed the memorandum of demands to a representative from the Premier's office by the name of Dan Bovu. He is saying that he is receiving this memorandum and going to submit it to the Premier's office, which will then take it to the President's office. So we will see as to how will government respond in that matter. Here is the memorandum. A number of things that have been highlighted is saying that teenage pregnancy has been cited as one of the challenges in this area, wanting government to tackle it, police deployment in this area, and also they're saying that they want a mass deportation of illegal foreigners in this area. So at this point in time, we have the police commissioner in Gauteng, Elias Mawela. We're going to engage him. Last week we saw community members having to give him a memorandum of demands, and they said that they're giving him 7 working days to respond, otherwise they will be forced to invade this police station because they are fearing to live in their homes. Mr. Mawala, thank you so much for joining us here at eNCA. We were expecting to see you last week here, community members saying that they want your intervention in a period of 7 days. You received the memorandum. How are you intervening?
Thank you very much for the opportunity given to us. Yes, we are intervening. As you can see, we have more boots on the ground, and we continue to deploy. But this kind of mobilization, we welcome it by SANCO, also by other communities, because if the community is mobilized and organized, it becomes easy to can interact with them and work with them. So we appreciate the level of consciousness which they are bringing to the community, that let them be aware of their environment and let them also assist the police in terms of the fighting of crime. I've heard even the chairperson of SANCO was talking about those who are harboring and aiding the undocumented persons. So they are assisting us, bringing that awareness to the community. So in the long run, we'll be in the position to can reduce crime here.
Community members mainly here saying that they want a permanent deployment of TRT. Do we have that capacity, and what is the situation on the ground? Do we have such members of the ground at this point?
Yeah, you see, we have members of TRT, but they won't be enough to can cover all parts of Gauteng. Remember, we're having 144 police stations with different challenges. We'll keep on moving them where the situation is getting out of hand and so forth. But in the absence of TRT, we have the public order police. We also have the anti-gang unit, which we are also deploying in this particular space. But what is important is the involvement of the community themselves. If they can isolate the criminals within their midst, ensure that no one is harbored in those shacks which are here, and other stakeholders, they also come in terms of, you know, improving the condition of living of the people here. You'll see the crime situation, it will go down. The socio-economic factors of this area, it's also making the situation to be worse. So we call upon those who are responsible for assisting us with that element, so that, you know, they address those issues of the community. We continue to also execute our constitutional mandate.
Now, let's talk about the 7 days that the community has given you last week, Friday. How far are you in implementing what they have asked you to help with?
No, we actually, what they were saying, it was what was already on the ground, you understand? So even though we can't implement everything, but we are compiling our response to them to say that it was already in place. Maybe if they were not aware that this thing, it is in place, we make it aware for them. And then the new things which they are asking, we'll also see how are we going to move around and implement it. But the most important thing is them and us coming together, because the condition of living of the people of Diepsloot is the same condition of the police officers who are working here. They work in the same condition, they drink the same water, they walk the same street. The issue is that working together with all the stakeholders, let us remove all the root causes of crime. Let us improve the condition of living of the people of Diepsloot, so that as the police, it must be accessible and easy for us to can execute our constitutional mandate. And the community, they must also live in an area whereby they can live in peace and harmony. They can move around without fear of violence or crime. You know, the streets are numbered, the roads are widened out, and then, you know, there is lighting everywhere. If we can work together, all of us, the problems will be resolved.
Well, thank you so much, Ramawela. That's the provincial commissioner, SAPS provincial commissioner in Gauteng. Cindy, you've heard him having to highlight that they are really trying their level best, but having to call on community members to work with them and also the stakeholders. Earlier on, when I was speaking to you, I said that last week when we engaged the SAPS representative who was receiving the memorandum on his behalf, he has highlighted that government stakeholders should descend down and work together in ensuring that they tackle all the social ills or the challenges this community is facing at this point in time. So the memorandum has actually been handed over. It is now being taken by Den Bovu from the Premier's office, and he's saying that he is going to hand it to the Premier. The Premier is going to take the responsibility to ensure that it reaches the presidency.
And Bafedile, I think the big challenge for crime prevention in these areas is the trust deficit between the communities and the police, and also the threat to your livelihood, in the sense that if you are the one who's going to raise the alarm or point out any criminals within your midst, you may yourself become a target. But it's something that needs to be done nonetheless. And earlier on, you had mentioned that the community members had put their hands up, saying that they want to be part of the solution, to be vetted and form a community policing forum so that they can claim back their neighborhoods. But thank you for now, Bafedile Moerane, who's out at Diepsloot police station, where community members are marching there to give over a memorandum of a demand to deal with the issue of rampant crime in that area. Lethiwe Mdluli is in KZN eThekwini, talking to us now about the municipality claiming that 22 out of their 23 Durban beaches are now safe for swimming. Lethiwe, thank you and good afternoon to you. I know you've gone across Durban and many areas to find out for yourself firsthand whether what the claims are of the eThekwini municipalities, whether it is true or not. What have you found so far?
Well, Cindy, this afternoon we are at the Country Club beach here in Durban, and I want to show you the scenes, or rather the scenery. We've seen a lot of people arriving from either the Eastern Cape or Gauteng, visiting eThekwini for the long weekend, of course. As you can see, people have opted to swim, and I guess it's because also the eThekwini municipality has released a statement, and they are claiming that the beaches are safe for bathers. This, of course, follows the issue of the sewer crisis that eThekwini has been dealing with for the past year. You'd remember that last year during this time, many of these beaches were closed due to the fact that there were high E. coli levels in our oceans, and that was due to the fact that a lot of pump stations were washed away by the floods in April 22. So now, following that issue, the municipality has struggled to kind of fix the already existing issues of old infrastructure, and the opposition parties have been raising a lot of issues with the municipality not acting in time to fix the issue. And of course, people have not been coming to the city. As a result of that, we saw a decline in the number of holiday makers around December last year, and of course that impacted on our economy. And right now what the municipality is saying is that they're trying to attract the crowd back into Durban, and by them then releasing this information, they are saying that it's safe for holiday makers to make their way here because they are doing testing every week, and they can assure the public that the high E. coli levels have subsided. But of course, opposition parties are raising an issue here, saying that how can this be when the existing issue of pump stations or sewer pump stations still not being fixed? You'd remember that Action SA and the DA have actually taken the eThekwini municipality to court to try and urge them to fix the existing issues of old infrastructure. But earlier on, when I spoke to the Deputy City Manager, Musa Gumede, about their testing and what they are saying to the public, assuring them that they should come to Durban to swim, this is what he had to say about their results.
We are open. Our websites have these results. We work with water and sanitation with their laboratory, and they are the ones who do the testing of all our water and all our rivers and all our beaches, and they make these results available to the public. We've also, in December, if you recall, when Talbot came out with the results which were not similar to ours, and we requested that we test together, that we work together. We don't have a problem with working with anyone, so that we make sure that we are testing at the same time in the same areas, so that we have the similar results and give confidence to our residents. This issue of different results is not giving us any happiness, because it creates an impression that there's something we're hiding.
And let's see, I mean, for many tourists around the country would appreciate the sunny weather, eternal summer, as it's called in eThekwini, and how things have deteriorated over the years. I mean, I recall having almost a national pilgrimage every year. At some point, you would make your way to Durban, but things have changed over the years with the bulk infrastructure failure, particularly when it comes to the sewer pumps. Speaking to the municipality, what is in place in ensuring that the rehabilitation or the maintenance of the infrastructure is done accordingly and to avoid a future incident such as the closure of beaches?
Well, Cindy, I spoke to Gumede about their plans moving forward, and what they're saying is that since last year they were waiting on a budget from National Treasury, and this is why it has taken so much time for them to fix the damaged pump sewer stations. And he's also saying that since receiving that money, they are now allocating that money accordingly, which is why they are trying to right now just basically fix the issues that the city is dealing with. So they are promising that the money that has been allocated is going to be used to fix the existing issues of aging infrastructure. But of course, in speaking to Action SA a bit earlier on, they were also saying that some money had to be sent back to National Treasury last year, which means that there's no political will from the local leaders here in Durban to try and fix the existing issues. And the reason why they are questioning the eThekwini municipality's results of the beaches being safe is that they have done oversight visits in many of the pump stations that were a problem before, and they have found that those pump stations are still yet to be fixed. So they are asking the question as to how can the municipality then say that it's safe to swim when sewer is still being it's still flowing into our ocean. But of course, they are also saying, the opposition rather, they are also saying that they do want to attract holiday makers into the city. They do want to see the city doing better and the economy basically doing better as well. But they do, or are urging the municipality to be very transparent about what they're saying, because if they are lying, it puts the people's lives at risk and also their health. But the municipality has, of course, assured residents and also holiday makers that their tests are done every week, and they are working on the issue of fixing that broken down infrastructure.
All right, Lethiwe, thank you so much for that update, especially now with the Heritage Weekend looming. Many travelers are making their way to the beaches, getting some assurance from the eThekwini municipality that the water is safe, that at least 22 out of the 23 beaches in Durban are safe for tourists to visit. So we are speaking to eNCA reporters Bafedile Moerane, who is out in Diepsloot, and Lethiwe Mdluli in eThekwini. Thank you very much for joining us.